Something has been removing thoughts from my head. I know how that sounds. I'm going to tell you exactly how I figured it out, because the how is the part that should concern you too. You know that feeling. You're walking through your apartment, kitchen to bedroom or bedroom to bathroom, and you stop in a doorway and your mind is empty. Not tired, not distracted, just blank. And then it resolves. Right, water. You were going to get water. And you turn around and you don't think about it again. Everyone has this. It even has a name. Researchers call it a doorway effect. The theory is that crossing a physical threshold signals your brain to close one context and open another. The forgetting isn't a malfunction, it's the system working correctly. That's what I believed. For a long time, that's what I told myself. My name is Daniel. I'm 34, I work from home, I live alone in a 2-bedroom apartment. The second bedroom is an office. I keep the door open. The layout matters. Remember that. It started in March. I was walking from the office to the kitchen, 15 feet, straight shot, no turns. And I stopped in the doorway and lost whatever I'd been thinking. 3 seconds. Then it resolved. I got my water, went back to work. I didn't write it down. 4 days later, same doorway, same blank. A little longer this time. And when it resolved, I had the specific sense that I hadn't forgotten the thought, that something had interrupted it. Here's the first thing I want you to hold on to. I have 4 doorways in this apartment. I walk through all of them, all day. It was only ever the kitchen. Only ever between 3 and 4 p.m. I'm a data person. I notice things like that. I started keeping a log. Date, time, duration. Just a note in my phone. By the end of March, I had 11 entries, all kitchen doorway, all between 3:07 and 3:51. Average blank, 6 seconds. The longest was 14 seconds. I want you to sit with 14 seconds. Count it out. 1, 2, 3. That's a long time to stand completely still in a doorway to your own kitchen with your mind switched off. What I noticed at 14 seconds wasn't fear. It was how comfortable it felt. Like the part of me that generates what to do next had simply stopped. And the absence wasn't uncomfortable. That was the part that bothered me afterward. In April, I started trying to hold the thought, to grip whatever I was thinking as I crossed the threshold and carry it through. I couldn't. Not I kept forgetting, not the thought would fade. The thought would be present. I could feel it, full and intact, right up to the moment my foot crossed the line. And then it was gone, completely. The way a word disappears when someone cuts you off mid-sentence and you spend the next half hour trying to find it and can't. On April 9th, I tried something. I stopped just before the threshold and typed into my phone whatever I was thinking at that exact second. I was thinking about a smell. Specific, familiar, no source I could place, like a room I'd been in as a child. I crossed the threshold. The thought went. I looked at what I'd typed. I didn't recognize it. Not the words. I recognized the words. I didn't recognize the memory they were pointing at. I kept the habit. Stop at the threshold. Type first. Then cross. Over the next 3 weeks, the list grew. A smell with no room attached to it. My father's voice saying something I couldn't reconstruct. The back room of the apartment I grew up in. I could remember the room existed. I could remember we never used it. I could not remember a single thing about what was inside. A dream from my second year of college. A name. I wrote it phonetically because I wasn't certain of the spelling. A face with no name. An afternoon from childhood. I knew it was an afternoon. I knew I'd been outside. I knew something had happened. That's all I had. I read back through the list, looking for a pattern. They were all things I had already forgotten. Not recently. Long ago. What I'd been losing in the doorway wasn't new thoughts. It was the beginnings of old memories trying to surface. Every time I crossed that threshold, something that had almost come back got cut off. I sat with that for a while. Then I thought about the doorway effect, the research, the clean neurological explanation, and I thought about the fact that I had 4 doorways, and only one did this. And I thought about the fact that this happened at the same time every day, with a precision that didn't feel like a glitch in my own cognition. Glitches aren't that consistent. That night, I looked up the previous tenants of this apartment. 3 since the building opened. All lived alone. May, 43 log entries. I moved the document to my desktop so I'd see it every time I opened the computer. Then I found the Tuesdays. 4 of them, spread across March and April. On those 4 days, there were no log entries, not blank entries. No entries at all. I checked my calendar. I was home all 4 days. I remember all 4 afternoons in a general way. Worked in the morning, took a break, made coffee. I have no specific memory of the kitchen doorway on any of them, which means either I didn't walk to the kitchen between 3 and 4 on those days, or I did. And whatever happened in that doorway, I don't have access to. I tried to reconstruct them, sat at my desk and worked backward through each Tuesday. I could get close. I could get to the afternoon, to the feeling of the afternoon, and then there was just a gap. Smooth, no rough edges, not like a forgotten thing, like a thing that had been taken out cleanly. I added a column to the log, 4 rows, all blank, labeled it missing. Then I sat very still for a while. I thought about how long I'd lived here before I started writing anything down. 3 years. I thought about what the list might look like if I'd started on day 1. Last Tuesday, 3:17 p.m. I stopped at the threshold, held still, typed what I was thinking. I was thinking someone stood here before me, not a ghost, not a metaphor, a person who stood in this exact spot at this time of day and reached for something and lost it. I crossed the line. The thought didn't go. I stood in the kitchen and it was still there, intact. I waited. Nothing. I looked down. The floor is hardwood, original to the building. There's a place at the threshold, I'd noticed it before, assumed it was settling, where the wood is worn lower than the rest, a shallow groove, the shape of a foot. Right foot, leading in. I live alone. I've lived here 3 years. The wood at the bottom of the groove is a different color, not dirty, dark the way wood gets when something has been pressing on it for longer than this building has existed. I didn't move for a while. I was thinking about the 3 previous tenants, all alone, and whoever was here before the records start. And I was thinking about the missing Tuesdays, my missing Tuesdays, and whether they had missing days too, and whether those days are somewhere, stored in a list no one kept, in a document no one made. Thoughts that almost surfaced, memories that almost came back. All of them stopped at the same line. I closed the log. I haven't opened it since, not because I'm done, because I realized something on the way back to my desk. The groove fits my foot exactly, the way something fits when it's been shaped specifically for you. I don't know what it's taking. I don't know what I've lost. I know I keep walking back. Every day. Same time. I know that should bother me more than it does. It doesn't. And I've started to wonder if that is also part of it.